Hi again, guys. Welcome back on my channel. I know that it's been a little while since Japan, but quite a few things have happened. And I thought that now being back in Belgium at my parents' place again, I have had 2 weeks of grounding and kind of realigning again to what truly feels good to me. And I thought that I could be doing a little recap of my stay in Japan. And then also, this video is going to be focused on mental, spiritual, physical tools that I'm using in order to manifest the true self that I want to be in 2026. So first, I'm gonna start with my little recap from Japan and tell you guys why I came back, because I put this little video on my TikTok channel. So I will link my TikTok channel right here. Actually, I'm just posting a few short reels and some tips and advice on there, and it's like very short format and it's not as deep as my YouTube channel, but that's what TikTok is about. But so I was explaining how misaligned I was feeling in Japan. And I really tried pushing through when I was there. And I was like, yeah, I need to adapt to the culture, whatever, it takes time. But the weeks, months passed by and I didn't feel well. And I really had that little twinge in my chest of intuition telling me this is not right. You should stand up for yourself. You know yourself so well. Like, this doesn't feel respectful to who you are. So, summarizing it all, the work-life balance is inexistent in Japan, which now I'm aware of it, that it's very important for me. I am highly sensitive. I know that I need time to rest. I need a little structure in my days. I was so dependent there on my agency, and maybe for some girls that works well when you're 16 and you don't know how the business works. You wouldn't just be driven by a van and go to castings, fine, but it was not feeling right for me. And I just needed way more freedom and independence. So there was one. Then secondly, super long days. Some call times started at like 5 in the morning, and then you get like an 8-hour day as usual. And after that, you have castings until 9 or 10 p.m. So 10 would be the time that you get back home, and then you still need to cook and like go to bed after that. So it's just, for me, it didn't work at all. My body was so stressed. I started having eczema again. I was in my head. It was just not working. So that was number two. And then number three was that, to be honest, guys, the rates there are way too low for me. And so I know that the yen is low, so you always need to adapt a little bit to the market that you're going. So I was not expecting the rates that I was having here in Europe, but I do have a minimal. It was just that you're spending 12 hours a day working for what? After 1.5 months, I came back and I was supposed to stay for 3 months. But I think that making that decision made me even feel more connected to myself. And I was honestly so proud of taking that decision, because 6 months ago, I would have never even considered that as an option. I'm just in a very different mindset and a different space, and respecting myself and my boundaries. So that was my little Japan trip, but that's work-wise. Otherwise, as a tourist, it's incredible. Now, being back in Belgium, I was not expecting, obviously, to be back in Belgium. And as you guys know, it is not really my happy place. I just have my friends and my family here, and I'm glad for that. But I do feel some heaviness here, and yeah, a lot of negative mindset. And also getting back here in January, it's super dark, cold, lots of rain and snow. So I just felt that I needed to get back to what makes me feel good, because otherwise I just feel that I'm getting in my head and that I'm being hard on myself and stuff. And so I needed to get back in the best physical, mental, and spiritual state after Japan in order to bounce back and have the best year 2026 possible. So I'm gonna start with the physical aspect because that is more of the practical. And I think that the three aspects are super important and they all intertwine. So you can, in my perspective, you cannot only focus on one to feel better. It's just little habits that stack up and then they gonna make some magic together. But yeah, I think that only focusing on one aspect, it can work for you. And if that does, then great, you have found your tools. But I think that it's super important to see the three perspectives. So in terms of nutrition, I felt that Japan was actually a very good diet for me. It was very digestible, lots of healthy fish and rice, kimchi, lots of fermented foods, warming stuff. I loved it, and I actually tried to take that with me home. So focusing on things like bone broth and butternut and squash and pumpkin, sweet potatoes, like all of these starchy carbs. And for the protein, well, obviously trying to take fish, but the fish here is not as fresh and as good as in Japan. So it doesn't matter. I don't need to reproduce the exact same thing. But here I would be focusing on proteins such as tofu and chicken, some meat here and there if it's good quality. So really focusing on high quality foods and having variety. And then in terms of vegetables and fruits, I always try to take it local, even more important, seasonal. So here now it's winter, so focusing on persimmons, apples, stewed pears, bananas, that kind of fruit. And if you really want to twist it up sometimes, I do admit that I have some frozen blueberries, some frozen raspberries in my fridge. So I would take them out and put them in my yogurt or my oatmeal in the morning, but I try not to do it too frequently because that's why we have seasons. We are meant to work in a cycle. Adding some good fats such as nuts, seeds, all the nuts like walnuts, bristle nuts, some ghee if I can, like cooking with ghee, olive oil. That hasn't changed a lot, but it's just like keeping those habits as a foundation. And then again, I'm kind of repeating myself, but it's just what works for me. So trying to stabilize my blood sugar, so having meals every 4 hours, basically, or something to eat every 4 hours. So in the morning before my workout, I always try to have something, so little energy bowl or half a naked bar, some like half a banana, that kind of stuff, just to have some carbs in my stomach to have that energy. And then after my workout, I really try to have a full meal, so protein, fats, and carbs, and having caffeine even with that meal. Sometimes I do it or after breakfast. That would be my go-to. And then basically during the day, I try not snacking all day, but just like whenever I feel hungry, either I have a snack, and also like prioritizing carbs and pairing it with fats, for example. So say apple with some almond butter, something like that. Then try eating at 6:30-ish for dinner, then having some tea after that and not eating afterwards because otherwise I do feel pretty heavy and it disturbs my sleep. Going into the sleep aspect of things, so I have noticed that when I was in Tokyo, I was exhausted. Like, guys, I was sleeping 10 hours per night and I still felt so exhausted. It's your body just wanting you to relax more and that you're taking in all these new informations and you're in a new city trying to, well, obviously speaking English all the time, which is my second language. So it's pretty intense as well. So yeah, all of these things, they are taken into my body, into my energy. And so really trying to go to bed early. Japan was not possible, but here I'm going to bed at 8:30 and then probably sleeping at 9. And then whenever feel like I need to sleep in a bit, I do it. And otherwise, trying to wake up and go to bed at the same times every day, that really helps setting a certain rhythm so that my body knows what to expect. So 7 to 9 hours of sleep at least. That would be my number two. Number three, for like more of the physical aspect, is movement. So as you guys know, I try to move every single day. So I usually do either a 35, 40 minutes Pilates or cardio or a HIIT workout in the morning. I know that there's some controversy about HIIT and cardio for women and stuff. I do get it. And I try not to go over the top with it, but I just do feel much better when I'm focusing on cardio and on that sporty aspect because I need to release that energy. And for me, only focusing on strength and building muscle and Pilates or that very slow movement is not working for me. It just makes me feel anxious and more in my head. So I am trying to incorporate it. And some days, like maybe one day, like having more of a strength focus workout, but I'm not centering my whole workout routine around that. And lots of walking. When I'm feeling anxious, I go for a walk. I call a friend on a walk, like whatever. But I did that's how I works. And I think that lots of people also benefit from just getting that release of energy through movement. So find the movement that works for you. But I do believe in the power of movement. So it is an important aspect of the physical health. I'm gonna combine spiritual and mental in the same box. I have been like through a journey of finding what works for me mentally and spiritually because I tend to be pretty anxious and stuck in my head. So I've tried journaling, I've tried meditating, yoga. This doesn't work for me. It really puts me in that hypervigilance mode and it puts me even more in my head and it focuses me on, there is something wrong, I need to fix it. And I don't need to fix anything. Like, you don't need to fix anything. You just need to find your flow again, actually. And so what works for me is writing down every night or every morning a few things I'm grateful for, my wins, my prides, my goals, my ambition, like really focusing on positive things and on building a ladder of things. So basically, if I put myself 6 months ago, what has changed in a positive? Like, how did I evolve? How have I grown? And what did I do to get from A to B? And really knowing and tapping into that feeling of, I've done it. I know, like, I have that trust in me. I've done it so many times. I can be in that state of deep surrender and relaxation and go with the flow. And I felt it way more this year than even 2 years ago. And I even know that now it's like super close to being my early normal state. When you tap into your intuition, just like know how you feel after doing it. Just try noticing the shifts. If you do feel more anxious after doing a certain meditation tool or yoga tool or whatever, it's not for you. Let it go. Try something else. If you say have a conversation with someone, how do you feel after? Do you feel alive? Do you feel joy? Do you feel drains? Like, really try to tap into that and then putting boundaries with the things that do not make you feel good. And I know this is super hard, but putting boundaries is key. And it can be with people, with places, with jobs, as I did in Japan. And I'm actually so proud of doing that because in the end, what truly matters is how you feel. And it is your life. You're the only one who can determine what is good for you, what is not good for you, where you want to go, what you want, what you don't want. And okay, if it hurts someone, if it hurts their feelings, if they feel offended, if they feel let down or whatever, okay, well, sad for them, but that's not on you. And really trying to shift that mindset of, okay, I cannot please everyone. And just being myself and find your purpose. That is like actually a super good question as well. As a journal prompt, if you are into journaling and stuff, what is your purpose? What does make you feel alive and aligned? So all of these tools, it's quite a lot and it's not super structured of you need to do this, 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 this. I'm just giving you insights of what worked for me and what I'm really trying to put back in my life every time that I feel disaligned or anxious or tense. Where is my center? How can I protect myself from all the negative energy? And we go from there. So that would be it, guys. That would be my little toolbox, physically, mentally, spiritually, for you to build your best self in 2026. If you have enjoyed this video, if you have any feedback, any questions, I am always free and open to talk and discuss with you and have conversations, because I do love deep talk. My goal is truly to inspire you to build your best self and to embody who you want to be. And I hope that this can give you a little inspiration of standing up for yourself. So this wraps up my video for today. And obviously on my Instagram, I'm putting all of my work. I have also a little highlight with my holistic health and my YouTube videos that you can click on, and then you have a view of all of my YouTubes and interviews and stuff. There's lots of interesting stuff. Do not hesitate to share this video with someone who would be inspired by this, and I hope that I can see you in the next. Mwah, have a good day. Bye bye.